Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this today's session of Saturday Talk by JanyuTechnologies. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. M.Y.S. Prasadji for today's session. A brief introduction of Prasadji. M.Y.S. Prasadji studied Bachelor of Engineering in the Electronics and Communications branch in Government College of Engineering, Kakinada, AP. He studied from 1969 to 1974 and obtained his B degree in 1974. Later, he did his PhD from BITS Pilani in the area of interference in satellite communications during the years 2000 to 2005, obtaining his doctorate in 2005 while he was working in ISRO. Dr. M.Y.S. Prasadji worked in ISRO for 40 years. Today, he is going to speak on the topic living in the space. Thank you, sir. Over to you from here.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. Good evening to all the participants. I specifically want to thank JanyuTech for inviting me for this talk. Especially the advice of Dr. S. Rangarajan to give this talk because whatever Rangarajan says, I can never say no. That is the reason I have accepted, and I have also seen how well JanyuTech is organizing these talks. Actually, this topic, what I have taken, living in space, is to convey to all the people the facts without distortions or without too much of distortions, which is usually you find in the media and in the WhatsApp universities nowadays. Okay. So mainly this is nothing to do with the work with ISRO because we are yet to do a manned mission. But this material, what I'm presenting here is collection from various books, technical articles and presentations of other experts, and also personal discussions with many astronauts. Actually, so far there are 1,400 astronaut missions in the world as on March end 2025. 625 individual astronauts have flown into the space and 24 additional people have either orbited moon or landed on moon. So 625 plus 24. Out of this, 80 are women. And these missions have taken place across all the types of systems like Salute missions of former USSR, Mir, former USSR, Space Shuttle of US, and currently ISS, which is the International Cooperation Program. Normally, we engineers or managers in space systems, we say human being is the weakest subsystem in the human mission or manned missions, man being the weakest subsystem. Because all other subsystems we can manage much better than managing the astronaut. Now, this whole topic of living in space covers these few aspects. That is the pre-launch training, which is very important to keep people fit both physically and psychologically for the mission, and launch and ascent into the orbit. Most of the manned missions, except moon missions, are around the Earth in the low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit, somewhere around 300 to 400, 450 kilometers of orbits. Then stay in the space station and whatever it is, and then to train them for the actual work there, including the space station elements and how to maintain them, how to repair them in case of a problem, and about their work, and extravehicular activities, that is walking in the space and then doing repair works for the space station or establishment of some new systems. Then deorbit and descent to the Earth, and finally physical and psychological recovery after coming back to Earth. So the living in space covers all these things, but I'm going to speak only a few aspects of the mainly physiological aspects, changes and challenges with respect to astronauts. The first time that Gagarin went to space on 12th April 1961, there were doubts whether a human being can survive in the space, whether he will maintain his balance. The first question he was asked from ground was whether he is seeing his front panel. And then when he said yes, and they asked him, how is it oriented? He said, as normal as when I took off. So immediately all the doctors shouted, yes, man can work in the space. Then Gagarin had, of course, one orbit only. Afterwards, Valentina Tereshkova proved that there will be no change of the physiological changes between men and women in the space. And then in 1965, Alexei Leonov walked first time in the space, and he proved a lot of things, including what is required in the shoe to come back properly into the space station. These are all the beginnings of the human space missions and living in space. Now, the essential things for the space mission is sealed environment, because the human being cannot survive in space. He can only survive in the Earth equivalent environment when we create. So the air for breathing is normally maintained with 21% of oxygen and 78% of nitrogen, almost near to what is in the Earth. And for that, practically 3.5 kg of nitrogen and 4 kg of oxygen is required to replace every day in the space, because there will be some losses because of small leaks, and also human beings there or astronauts there breathe in the air. Because of that, breathe in and breathe out. Because of that, you need to replenish or change the air contents, nitrogen and the oxygen. Then very essential things for survival in the space are water, food and sleep. Usually 2 to 3 liters per astronaut per day is required for drinking, and 5 kg for washing and hygiene. But this 5 kg is only normally the astronauts are advised or trained only to take bath once in 5 days or a week, and also washing of any of their linen. So 2 to 3 liters of water per day per astronaut. That's how we have to design the system. And food is roughly 2800 to 3000 kilocalories of energy per day. For that, normally food, the type of very attractive packing, taste, etc. are normally put to so that they can consume it. But it generally contains 15% of protein, 35% of carbohydrates, and 50% of fat. This is to keep them fit and healthy. Then hygiene and safety are very essential. Safety like fire suppression systems, carbon dioxide scrubbing, because as the astronauts breathe, they breathe out the carbon dioxide, and anything on the Earth, normally carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 0.03%. If it exceeds 0.5%, there will be very heavy headaches and people can't work further. So almost once in 12 hours, the carbon dioxide will be removed by the carbon dioxide will be regularly removed by lithium hydroxide canisters, but the canisters will be changed once in 12 hours so that there will be no accumulation of carbon dioxide in the air. And the pressure and temperature have to be controlled just like on the Earth, especially pressure anywhere between 1 atmosphere or which is called, we call it normally with the manned missions 1013 HPA. HPA means 100 pascals. Either 1100 pascals or 700 pascals. Okay, this is 100 pascals. So this is the level in which pressure is maintained. Protection from radiation, which is important because radiation exposure will cause cancer to the patient, to the astronauts when they come back. But there is no special provision with respect to day-to-day things. The design of the space station itself with double walls and sometimes with water in between, water bar ice in between the walls as the protection from radiation. And there are a lot of interfaces for regular work which are to be provided, and also lot of interfaces for extravehicular activities. That is, people are going out and then working and coming back. Now, coming to the main aspect of my talk, the important results of this medical investigation so far. As I told you, 625 plus 24, almost 650 astronauts flew in the space, lived in the space, some of them many times. That's why 1400 and odd astronaut missions, including former USSR had flown a medical doctor as astronaut, and he lived in space for 270 days, testing every day himself and all other astronauts for the health aspects. From all this experience, the most important things is weightlessness and cosmic radiation. Weightlessness is the fundamental principle because the whole satellite or space station rotates around the Earth only when it cancels the complete gravity force towards the Earth. That means there will be no gravity. Once there is no gravity, there is no weight. So weightlessness means, that's why you see in all the videos, the astronauts and everything flying. Astronauts will be flying. So human body gets adapted to this space environment, and the changes happen. Most important changes which will happen is lot of red blood cells will be lost, or they will decrease, red blood cells. Then muscle atrophy will happen. That means muscles will become weak. Bones will lose its density, and cardiovascular deconditioning. That means basically the heart becomes slightly smaller. This is because there is no gravity. When the people are on Earth, the gravity pulls them down, and both the bones and the muscles will oppose that force and keep the people standing. So this work continuously keeps these systems properly. And also, when we are on Earth, the blood circulation is such that the lower portions of the body get more blood circulated than the upper portions. Mostly what happens is when there is no gravity, there is weightlessness, the blood circulation will be uniform in the body. But the body system sees as if there's a lot of blood flowing, a lot of fluids flowing in the upper part of the body. That is the problem. And another important thing is vestibulo-autonomic disorders. That is the balance system as well as orientation system. What we experience on the Earth will get disturbed because the astronauts will be flying practically. So, but they can make out up and down and all those changes. That was proved long back. And when they come back, the recovery is a very tough job, as tough as their initial training. So this generally, whatever changes I told for the body, what will happen, like the cardiovascular deconditioning, muscle atrophy, bone loss, and the loss of red blood cells, all of these things happen after 15 days of space flight. Okay. The one effect which is immediately in the first few days of the space travel is what is called space sickness. So here you can see how the body, when it sees that there are more fluids in the upper part of the body, though it is the uniform flow of the blood in the body system see, especially thorax, that is between neck and abdomen, that portion sees that as there are a lot of fluids accumulated, and it will try to throw them out. So initially, first few days, they will have space motion sickness. They will have a lot of fluids coming out through motions, vomitings, and all those things. And also they feel the head very heavy because there is a lot of blood flowing into the head. Now, this is the treadmill on board the International Space Station. Actually, I'm not giving much details about Salyut missions and Mir missions, even though they have contributed the maximum number of maximum experience of the astronauts, because they're not current now. I'm giving more examples only from ISS. So, as I told you, 4 kilometers of walk and 4.5 kilometers of run are required. So both of them together, okay? So, but you can see here, the astronauts will be connected to the base with bungee cords or the spring systems so that they don't fly away. Because there is no gravity there. Any movement will be, if you try to push something, you will be thrown back. So, to avoid that, when they are running on the treadmill, they will be practically tied to the base so that they will not fly away. This is ESI astronauts on ESI astronaut on ISS. There is also, to avoid or to partially create earth condition of higher flow of blood to the lower portions of the body, there is a system which is USA had developed, which is called lower body negative pressure system, so that when you wear it, when astronauts wear it, the flow will be more towards the bottom portion because of the negative pressure. And every day in space, astronauts have to spend 30 minutes in this to keep themselves fit. And the blood cells, as I told you, kidneys eliminate excess fluid, and also they lose their hormone, the creation of the hormone called erythropoietin. So this that is what actually keeps the red cells production and growth. And because of that, the red cells go down. Usually within 4 days of the space flight itself, red cell decrease is observed by the doctors. Actually, how these things are done is, urine tests are done for each astronaut every day before the launch, during training, during the mission every day, and after they come back every day. Actually, this is the way in which they find the actual health of the astronaut's condition. So, with these things, these conclusions, they have proven. Now, for about 3 to 4 months stay, the astronauts almost lose 15% of the red blood cells. Astronauts drinking that water recovered from the urine. Incidentally, when I asked a Japanese astronaut who went on board ISS that how do you drink the urine water, he told me, what's the difference? You drink water recovered from urine on the earth after 6 months. We drink after the next day. That's all the difference. Astronauts drink the next day, we drink after 6 months, because urine goes down into the earth, gets purified, and we get back as the water. So that's how they reduce the requirement of water being flown up. Now, so health condition on return to the earth is heart becomes smaller and weaker because it had to work less in the space, so it becomes weaker. And then vestibular system, that is balance system, gets used to the weightlessness and flying condition. So it becomes new again when it comes back to Earth. And body fluids are diminished, both because the thorax throws them out as well as blood cells reduce, and muscles atrophied and bones have weakened. So this many changes happen for which they have to recover. Yes, they will recover because there will be a set of doctors and a team which will work on each astronaut, and with everyday testing and everyday conditions. Some of you, incidentally, all these details, as I told you, many of them are from the books and technical articles, and many of them are with my personal discussions with a lot of astronauts, including first French astronaut who had become the space minister lady in France, and also a lot of astronauts. Incidentally, the first astronaut of China, Yang Levy, came to India in 2003, and I was the official host for him for 3 days continuously. So all these people have provided lots of input during discussions, and also NASA Associate Administrator who was in charge of manned missions. So some of you may get a doubt and question, with all these difficulties, why should you send people to space? Why so much trouble? But the answer to this is not mine. It is given by a great man, father of rocketry, who is Tsiolkovsky of Russia. In 1911, in a letter he wrote to a friend, he wrote there, "Our planet is a cradle of intelligence, and man cannot remain in the cradle forever. He has to go out, he has to live in the space, and he has to conquer the space so that," he answered up to that only. He said, "Our planet is a cradle of intelligence, but one cannot remain in the cradle forever." So we have to go out, we have to lay out the future for the people to survive in this universe. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Is there any maximum time limit for the human being to stay in space by science?
No, there is nothing like a limit. As I told you, the longest stay so far is, I think, 487 days by Polyakov, I think. And Krikalev spent almost a long time, over 5 missions. Okay, and similarly, some of the US astronauts also have spent. So there is nothing like a limit. Even the 270 days doctor's mission, the medical doctor of US ex-USSR who had flown in the Mir, in the Salute for 270 days. So he didn't have any problem, and he did not report any big problem with other people, other than whatever I told you. And when they come back, they have to take a long time to recover.
But the degradation of bones and degradation of muscles, they are all function
fully,
of time.
They don't fully go, okay?
Sure.
They don't fully go. Actually, as I was telling you, the greatest man in space, Tsiolkovsky, used to say he is continuously fighting against the gravity, okay? But 120 years back, he had proposed for long stay, we should create artificial gravity in the space by rotating systems, which we are yet to do, and which now only research is going on how to create artificial gravity in space for still longer flights, or maybe a human flight to Mars in the future. There may have to be some system of artificial gravity.
Yeah, I think that point is right, sir, because going to the space station may be an initial step, but in future we'll have to go for interplanetary missions.
Yes.
Then I think artificial gravity creation is a must.
Yes.
Yes, Prithvi, you can go ahead with the question.
Sure, yeah. So thank you very much for the insightful talk. I'm Prithvi. I work as a design manager in Hyderabad. Sir, I was curious, like Dr. Abdul Kalam said, that out of all the things that he did, the happiest moment is creating prosthetics for polio-affected patients, children like that. So out of all the stays, what has been the most insightful experience or idea or benefit that the people who have lived in space, the astronauts, have expressed?
Either astronauts or the people who worked in space or others, mainly people who worked in space, we do not consider like the so-called jingoistic nationalists that we are great and all others are useless. We don't do that. We respect everybody. Everybody's achievement is equal achievement for the humankind. And we respect Pakistan, we respect China, we respect US, we respect Russia for their achievements. And we feel any achievement in space is good for the people for the future. That's all. I think most of the astronauts, when they come back in their reactions or press briefings, they say same thing. We don't see borders from orbit. We don't see differences of people and all those things. Okay, that is one thing which I have observed, which is common.
See, when we are going for such space missions, the water and the food we are giving in calories, that food stuff or the clothing, was that used anywhere in civilian life in a normal course where it is curing something or it is available to some industrial work or something like that, sir?
Actually, for the industrial work, it's not required. Much better energetic food you can give on the earth. But as far as I know, most of the items what we eat on the earth are supplied to the astronauts. Only thing is their packing, their stay, and safe preservatives. These are the additional things which are added, and packaging is made attractive. And most of these food items must be in the cold condition, refrigerated condition, so that they can take it and then heat it and eat. So I saw in just like you see videos of ISS, you can see them almost eating like what we eat here. So I don't think it is some great thing. Only thing is the pen, NASA contracted some company to sell the pens which they use in the space, which can write even in the suppose if you want to write like this also you can write, which on earth normal pens don't write on paper. That is the only thing which they have asked some company to supply to anybody. I don't know anything about food, any such arrangement. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry, is the food dehydrated?
Yeah, but they will then add some water and then put it in the ovens and then eat it. Okay, dehydrated mainly for some of them. Most of them are dehydrated so that they can stay for a long time. Except as our people say, pickle I have taken there, and some chapati I have or samosa I have taken there. Maybe I do not know about that, but pickles, yes, they are not dehydrated when they took it there. But all other things, even I think there is one Sunita's talk itself, how she shows the toothpaste she uses, and it is a normal toothpaste. Only thing is, instead of after brushing her teeth, instead of throwing that out, she has the option of, or astronauts have the option of gulping it, okay, taking it in also. Okay. Thanks again to your JanyuTech company and Mr. Bhushan Rajesh and Abmanyu Raja, and also to Dr. S. Rangarajan, who had asked me, who had encouraged me to give this talk. Okay? I shouldn't ask, it's too big word for him. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, sir.